Hey, I take a lot of notes. I don't know if you take a lot of notes too, and by now I expected to have some sort of agentic search for my notes. I use Apple Notes, I use a Mac. Unfortunately, that's not happened, so I've built my own. It's packaged up on GitHub, and I'll show you how to use it. If you don't take notes, move along. You're not going to enjoy this. You first need to export your notes. These need to be either in a PDF, or I would suggest you go for a markdown. Now, the markdown when you export notes in Apple Notes means that you get the files with the images. If you use PDF, it strips out those images, and if you've done handwritten notes and things like that, it just doesn't work. So go ahead and use this exporter. I've linked to it, bit.ly/LLM-exporter. That uses Falcon Notes Exporter. Now, I don't run that project, so do your own due diligence on making sure that you feel comfortable installing that. Next, you need to download my project. Here's my project. You can get to it on LLM-rag-notes. And you can either sync it with GitHub CLI or whatever you want to do there, or if you're new to this, just click download a zip. Now, these files are very small, they're about 3.5 meg, and it's all using open source stuff. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So we've downloaded the file, it's in here. Now, everything you're going to be doing is just going to put it in this file. So it's nice and easy to clean up because it's going to do something called embedding. And that means looking through all your notes and things like that and making an index of it. So the first thing it's going to do here is go off and install a load of dependencies. There's something called a VM, virtual environment for Python. What used to happen is they had a load of conflicts in versions of Python. So they came up with VM to solve that problem. So developers could use different stacks without a problem. This come down pretty fast. If you've got fast internet, it'll come down pretty fast. Once that's done, what we're going to see is an icon pop up over here. There we go, and then we can just click that to launch the program. That's going to take a moment or two. It might ask you if you want permission for that to do it. It doesn't for me, but we'll just give that a moment. And at the end of that, it's going to pop up a GUI. Here it is. Now, the first time you run this GUI, it's going to take a little time to run. There's a lot going on in the background. Once it comes up, and you might want to hit refresh a few times. Just press enter like an animal. And we're going to see my interface pop up. Here it is. Anytime now. There we go. Okay, we're going to browse to a note location. I've got one called test notes. There we go, it's on my desktop. And there's 2 folders. Now, what I found previously is you had to index the whole thing and you might only be looking in one area. So I made it so that you could have a single corpus for all your notes, leave it running and indexing there, or multi-corpus. For this, I'm doing multi-corpus and I'm just looking at my personal projects. There's all sorts of stuff in advanced, like enabling GPUs and selecting your indexing model, but we're going to ignore all of that and we're just going to reindex, which is a full rebuild. In future, when you export your notes, you can then run a rescan. It'll just incrementally build in the notes that you've already, it'll not rebuild the notes that you already had in there. So it's creating the vectors here. It's just bringing down these files first, and then it's going to start indexing them with this lightweight model. Now, if you were in the advanced settings here, you could decide to use GPU, works better for some models than others. You could also select a different model that you want to do for the indexing. You will have to rescan everything if you do that in this. As you can see, the vectors are being generated there. It's coming up pretty quickly. It's quite a small corpus, this technical term. And once that's done, I'm going to have a look with this pre-filter. So it's popped up over here. We've got those embeddings, we've got those blocks. Now, I want to find out how what was the tool I used to build my home automation? So I know I put that in a folder called hacking. So I'm going to put hacking there. Now that's a pre-search for RAG, resource augmented generation. It means that it's only going to look for files that have hacking. So this LLM is going to have far, far less to do. And then I'm going to say, what was the platform I used for home automation? And I'm just going to click search. Now this is using Llama. You will need to install Llama if you haven't already done it. There is a simpler search you can do here, and I've suggested that you use Homebrew to install that, and the instructions for that are inside the README. So the platform used for home automation is Docker, specifically using Docker components, and to manage and run the Homebridge container. Homebridge is the thing that I wanted to find out, so it's found that for me. Now, I've asked this question several times in preparing for this demo, and it comes up with a different answer each time, because that's how LLMs work. If it's useful to you, let me know. If you find bugs, let me know. If you want to port it to Windows, be my guest. All this stuff is open source, but it's solving problems for me, and I thought I'd share it with you. Have a great day. Bye now.